silly bugger. That was on the Wednesday. Saturday, I've got a freaking Labrador in the backseat of my car, and we're going home. And anyway, so so Spencer arrived, and funnily enough, what's really, really odd, and I didn't know this until very recently, actually, about 2 weeks ago. We got Spencer on June the 3rd, which was 10 years ago. And my book was published on June the 3rd, literally a year ago. Wow. So it's the anniversary of the book published. So the book's only been published for a year. And as I say, it sold 10,000 copies already. But Spencer arrived and was just this unbelievable character. And because, of course, he had 2 little girls who were essentially his puppies. Who led him down the garden path. I mean, I stood no chance of training that dog, apart from the fact that evidently, because now I've got a black Labrador and I've got teenage girls. Yeah, he's just as mad as the other one. So we're just crap at training dogs. Yeah. But we just love them. And you're absolutely right. I mean, when Spencer had to be put to sleep, it was when Mum died. I wasn't there, actually. I'd spent the night there, and then I'd gone home to go and get a change of clothes. And I once again, I'm a firm believer that I think Mum just thought, I don't want Emma to see me dead. Yeah. And she died as I was going back. And there was a sense of relief because she'd been in so much pain, and she wasn't getting better. She was getting worse. And of course, we don't have euthanasia for people. It's, so when Spencer got poorly, it was so sudden and so quick, and it was so unexpected. And I had to make that fatal decision. And it wasn't clear cut, which was really difficult, because they said, we'll definitely have to remove his eye. There is a mass behind it. I said, what are the chances of it being cancerous? 99%. Okay, what do you do with that? Chemo. And then, of course, he had this massive heart condition as well, which they discovered that was part of the coughing. Can you get on top of that? We don't know. And I said, look, the dog is 9.5, okay, and he hates the vets. I mean, he was 35 kilos of lab. He was a big lab. He was never overweight, but he was a big dog. All the puppies from that litter were big. I used to have to carry him into the vet. I mean, it was so embarrassing. There'd be these tiny little things that would be so sweet and all excited, and Spencer would, he was the biggest wuss, that dog. But I knew that he would spend the rest of his life in the vet, and that would just be horrid. So when I had to make that fatal decision, the vet and the veterinary nurse both ended up in tears with me, because at one point I said, I'm going with him. Yeah. And she said, what? And I said, seriously, put a line in me. I can't let him go. And then did the fatal thing, or the awful thing of when they said, okay, he's gone now. And I can, it's really funny because I can talk about this without crying, and I'm sure it's because I've written it down and I've written the book. Yeah. I looked at the vet and said, I've changed my mind. And she said, that's kind of difficult. And I said, I can't do it. No, he can fight. And she went, not anymore, he can't. But it was the most horrific. But as I say, oh, Fletcher, really? Sorry, he's just gagged, and but you can't replace a dog. No. And I never ever had any intention of doing that. Yeah. But I also realised I couldn't be without one. And he's a rescue. We got so lucky with him because it's extremely rare. But everything about Fletcher's life is joyful. But so I wanted the girls to grow up with a dog, and it's taught them empathy, it's taught them nurture, it's taught them unconditional love. Because going back to the measure of success, I've said to both my girls are extremely different, and yet they've been brought up exactly the same by the same nutter. Fortunately they've both got pretty wicked senses of humor, which they bloody well needed to be brought up by me. But they are very, very different sort of academically and what they want out of life. And I've said to both of them, can I please give you your measure of success? And I said, and I want you to stick to this. It is to be happy and kind. End of story. Nothing else. You don't need to be rich. Money gives you options, but you don't need to be rich, and you don't have to have the flashiest car, and you don't have to wear all the designer labels. I don't think they've ever seen me buy a pair of shoes. I still accept hand-me-downs because I hate shoe shopping. I loathe shopping.
God, I hate shopping. Going back to sort of when Spencer got put down, the way you've wrote it is, it's amazing how you've wrote that last.
It's exactly how it happened,
but you've got to convert that by writing it and giving you the feeling as well, and you've done that in spades. And what you said about I think sometimes, because we had to have our last boxer put down and he had cancer, but I think when it's heartbreaking, but you're doing the right thing, and he knows you're doing the right thing, I think that gives you a sense of I don't know, just like it's final and
it was peaceful, and even though, because one of the questions I did ask the vet, because it's an interesting one, that the vets have to be very, very careful what they say to you before you give them permission to put your dog down. Because people often then go and research, if they encourage you to do what I did, they can then be sued. But what was very interesting was, because I think they could see how in love I was with this dog. And also I gave them both, before it all happened, I took a couple of copies of confessions and signed it for them and said, I want you to read about this dog's life, because he's so much more than a sick dog, and so they kind of, in fact, I don't know if they'd read them, but anyway, I think they realised how, obviously, because I asked Paola, she was she was a Spanish vet, absolutely stunning and nice. That annoys me, but anyway, she was also in tears, and when he was gone, and as I said, I said no, I've changed my mind. I did that, by the way, also when I was just giving birth to my first daughter. They said, what do you want to do with the baby? And I said, I don't want a baby. what the fuck are you talking about? I don't think things through, evidently. But one of my first question to her when I sort of calmed down was, have I just murdered my dog?
That's terrible.
Seriously, because I didn't. I need, and then she could say to me very categorically, she said, you did the right thing. She said that dog was going to be very, very sick. Yeah, cool. The chances of him having any kind of quality of life post what's happened to him is so small.
Yeah, of course.
And that was the comfort I took. With all that said, I'm still so traumatized by it that his ashes and his paw print are still there. Yeah. I can't bring it. And so Eddie's got to go and pick them up at some point, because I don't think I could, because I came out of the vets and I'd gone up there with a girlfriend, and I collapsed in the car park. And literally, thank God, Andy, her name's Andy, she's my guardian angel, but I specifically took her because she's very strong, physically and mentally, and she needed both, because she had to literally pick me up off the floor. And then she had to drive my car home.
To lighten the mood a little bit. So at the minute we've got Walter. He's 8 and his mum's 10, and they're boxers, and that's a good age. 10 is a good age for Alabama, and Alabama's his mum. And she doesn't take any shit. She's retired now. She takes things easy. If I take her for a walk, it's 100 yards. That's it. She'll stop. I'll have to drag her. And she was ill last week. We went into, because we've got like an outhouse with a dog flat, and she wouldn't move. And my wife, of course, panicked. Her legs have gone. So she wouldn't move. So we took her to the vets. And I was worried. I was thinking, I think her legs have gone because of old age. So anyway, the doctor said, come in, and did loads of tests, Parva or whatever it's bloody called.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, blood tests and things like this, and checking her stomach and everything like that. And then they came back and they said, no, she's absolutely fine. She's just got a really bad stomach bug. So basically, it cost me £400 to find out the dog had the shits. And they gave me this injection, and Alabama's like, feel a bit better now. Stood up, walked out the vets. And they was like, bring her back next week and we'll check her. I was like, are you joking? That's just cost me £400.
To find out.
And we thought Alexa gone, no, she just feels like shit.
Yeah. And they're buggers, aren't they? They are.
They are, and there we are taking to the vet thinking, oh my God, is this the end?
Oh, bless them. They are gorgeous dogs, boxers. And in fact, Fletch, because he was this is the rescue. He because he was kept in a barn for 8 weeks of his life. He was a classic pandemic dog. Somebody had got him, then could realise that Labrador puppies are bloody hard work. I mean, Spencer ate our kitchen floor. He ate the cat flap.
Yeah, they are.
This one's not been nearly as bad, actually. I think probably because you got him when he was a little bit older.
Yeah.
But because he didn't have very little human interaction. He wasn't abused, but he was neglected.
Yeah.
And he didn't have much. Well, he didn't have any dog interaction. So he is. I mean, he could have gone either way. I guess he could have become either an aggressive dog or a nervous dog. He is the most joyful dog I've ever known in my life. Everything excites him. Everything. And if you say, I'm going to be slightly careful because he is lying here. If I say to him, what's that? No, he's up. But he does like bunny jumps. And because the grass is so high at the moment, he looks like a dolphin. He's jumping. And it's gorgeous. But he's also, unlike Spencer, who was a stomach on legs, as you probably read, I don't know if you read the story of I got a lovely, great discount on my coal. I was really
I didn't. I've missed that one. But
yeah, well, no, it might be just towards the end. I can't even remember which bloody book it's in. But yeah, I got a great discount on some coal, and I was so proud of myself because I actually researched it, and so I had to share this amazing news with my husband. I think I'd got a tenner off or something. And then the bloody truck arrived, and so we're offloading the coal, sticking it in the garage, and the truck driver, it was a big articulated lorry, he said, what's your dog doing? And he climbed up 4 flights or 4 stairs into the cab and ate the bloke's McDonald's.
You're nice.
And, the whole and it cost me a tenner. I was bloody gutted. There goes my discount.
Yeah. You get, you give, and then you have to take away. It's
Do you know what this was the thing, quite a lot of his siblings ended up being guide dogs and mobility dogs, and we decided that because he has an ASBO they actually drew up in the village shop because he got done for shoplifting. He was barred from the pub, and that you've got to buy the books to actually read those stories because they're actually side-splitting fun, and it would but mortifying at the time. But he was such a character, but he would eat anything and everything. This one, not so much. He's just more into just playing with other dogs. I mean, he's got a mate called Brian the Beagle, and he goes for play dates. It's so sweet. Yeah, Hollywood to say, does Fletcher want to come over? And I almost feel like taking cake and stuff. What are they having for tea?
Right. So what's next then? So you've had these big meetings about films. You've wrote 2 books. I'm pretty sure you're thinking about another book as we speak. What's next in line, Emma?
It's really interesting. Okay, so what's next? That's a very good question. At the moment, I'm a bit of a menopausal ambassador for various people, but hopefully somebody, there's been quite a lot of interest other than this huge film company, some smaller film companies who've got the books and have said, yeah, we want to do this. It's a little touch of magic. It could be a nice, cozy, English, happy, everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
No matter what happens, everything's going to be okay. And I love the expression, if it's not, everything's going to be all right in the end. If it's not all right, it's not the end.
Yeah.
And so that's something I'm going to be working on. But yes, I have been asked, funnily enough, by said big film company to write another book, funnily enough, about my travels, the 11 years on my own, because so many hilarious things happened on that. And she said to me, please write another book. But there is a book in this dog. So I think it's at the moment, it's just concentrating on trying to make a difference for a lot of women around the world, and that's why I'm not limiting it. And I'm in this with another couple of ladies to just the UK. I think the States needs women need to start feeling less invisible at the age of 50. I mean, I don't know whether you know about this. Stop casting us out. Lots of actresses say that, you know, they've become invisible.
Yeah, I spoke to an actress a few weeks ago. I think the podcast just gone out, actually, Sarah Preston, and she's done a lot of work. But yeah, she's started her own media company because it's just very difficult once you reach a certain age. And yeah. I was talking to this about my wife, funnily enough, because obviously I write films, and to me, the older characters are the more interesting ones.
Yeah.
So I'm currently writing a film, and there's an older guy in it, and he's just so interesting because he's got the experiences and everything. You know, the young kids, what do they know? So it can be frustrating a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very good friends with Sarah Parish and Amanda Abbington.
Right, Sarah
of Sherlock fame. She's both of them just brilliant, fabulous girls. I mean,
well, there you go. You got your cast.
Well, exactly. They've just got to decide who's brave enough to play me, because because I'm going to insist that they do all their own stunts, which would be hilarious. But and I think, but you know, generally across the board, I think what everybody's forgotten is that we actually live longer now postmenopausally than we do premenopausally. So actually, when you sort of hit that a certain age, let's say from 45 onwards, so many women think their lives are over when their kids start leaving home or whatever. What am I here for? What is it all about? What am I supposed to do? Lots of people are in unhappy marriages, or they've been together for a long time or whatever. Actually, this is now, I mean, lots of people call it the twilight time. This is, you know, the beginning of the end. I see it as the harvest. We've done the tough shit. I mean, you know, when you're 13 years old and you start bleeding, and it's like, all right, you're going to bleed for 5 days every month and you're not going to die. Yeah. Like, okay. And how long does that go on for, Mum? Forever. She doesn't mention. Yeah. Oh, goody. And then you hit sort of mid-20s and everyone starts saying, when are you getting married? Oh, fuck off. And then enough people ask, and so you do. And that's all fun and games, isn't it? Especially when you marry the wrong person. And then when are you going to have kids? Okay, all right, fuck's sake, I'll get knocked up. And pregnancy was a joy. What a joy. I mean, there was nothing like vomiting for 9 months. No drinking. And at the time I was a smoker, couldn't smoke. So that was awful. And then you have to go through childbirth. That was fun. That was nice.
Sounds like you're trying to put...
I said to my mum, what's it like giving birth? She said, stick an egg up your nose, Emma. I said, oh, okay. So you do all that, and then you have this gorgeous little baby that you fortunately, despite my misgivings, because I didn't actually give birth. I'm going to have to come clean here. They both came out the sunroof. Yeah. So I did actually fall instantly and madly in love, and I think I talk about what happened to me during that process in the book. But I fell deeply in love with my children. I did want to drop kick them regularly. Don't get me wrong, they're lucky to be alive.
Don't we all?
You know, and then that's another thing that I sort of kind of broach with the book. Oh, shut up! Your child is not fucking perfect. Bugger off! They're little bastards, all of them.
So I think talking future-wise is you've got lots of different avenues, but I think the main thing is just keep your voice out there, because it's such an original voice and it's such a joyful voice. And I think whether it's books, film or whatever, I think that's definitely, you know, what I would say. And I haven't even read all the books completely yet. So yeah, I think that's important. I always ask my guests for a bit of advice, whether you've been giving it or you could give. Any good bits of advice?
Don't take yourself too seriously. And this is advice that I can't remember who made the quote, but always laugh at yourself, because otherwise you could be missing out on the best joke of your lifetime. Don't take yourself too seriously. Don't take life too seriously. None of us are getting out alive. And when life chucks the most awful, terrible curveballs or wrecking balls at you, remember, nothing lasts forever. Yeah. And not good, not bad. So whatever happens in your life, if you can find the funny, find the funny.